Good morning, it's Monday, December 21st, 2020, 9 a.m. This is the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to review the agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Santos, second by Nathan. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carries. Item 3 is discussion of possible action to approve an ordinance rezoning approximately 3 acres in Burlington Township from R1 Residential District to C2 Commercial District on the second of 3 readings.
This is the Barton property, or the Howard?
This would be the Barton,
Howard.
Bart,
I move to
Howard.
approve.
Motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Scott. This is a roll call vote. Nathan?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
I vote aye. Santos?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 4 is discussion of possible action to affirm change order number 9 previously approved by Eric Furnace for the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office Edition project in the amount of $500 with Mike Nolan of Horizon Architecture. Mike, are you on the phone this morning?
No, but Eric is.
Okay, Eric is out there. Eric, did you want to talk about
I'm
that
here.
brief? You want to talk about that briefly?
Yeah, this was originally grouped in with the sidewalk proposal that we chose not to go forward with. I requested that it be split out. There was some delay in Myers getting that amount. They got it at the end of the week previous, so I didn't have time to get it on last week's agenda. So when I got that number, it looked reasonable. We looked at the calendar. We had a really cold morning last week where the ground was frozen sufficient for them to bring the lift across the lawn. And they were also going to be removing their bigger equipment this week. So we went ahead and had them take that tower down. They had a long, big JLG lift that was more than capable of doing it. So they got that removed last week.
Okay. And that was that unused, old abandoned radio tower at the sheriff's office, correct?
Correct. It had been sitting disconnected. The wiring had been disconnected several years ago, so it served no purpose. And it was right next to the building, and the Sheriff West wanted it removed.
Yeah, makes sense.
Move to approve it.
So I have a motion by Santos,
Second.
second by Doug. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And thank you for, taking care of that when it was, cost effective, Eric.
Yep.
Okay, item number 5, items of the county engineer Keith White. 5A is discussion and possible action to approve various utility permits.
Good morning.
Morning, Keith.
We have one this morning, one utility permit from Eastern Iowa REC of Wilton, Iowa. And they are simply wanting to run an overhead service at 1717 260th Street. So we just cross the street to serve a property.
Okay, I have a motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Nathan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Do you have an update on projects this morning, Keith?
Just a note on G28, Haggerty's at work on the water main down there. That's not our project. They've had lots of difficulties and they're still at it. So hopefully they get that done. So the rest is design. Our one bridge on Douglas that goes to letting in January, we have one of the parcels acquired, which I have the paperwork for that today, and working on the other. And then the other project is the East County line just south of Walcott 60th. It's Scott County's project, but we're acquiring the right of way on our side, and that's been a challenge, and we're still working on that. And that's pretty much what's going on out there.
Okay.
All I have, barring any questions on anything.
Keith, how we doing on salt? coming up for,
We're fine. We
good on,
got in, I don't remember precisely, we ordered like 800 tons, so we got about that in. Have it all treated and up in the dome, and we're in good shape, and we have another 700 out there that we can get.
okay. And for the trucks that we had ordered, is everything set up for, did you get a snow? I know you had mentioned about that extra truck that we ordered, the one that we just purchased.
That one will be built, I mean, it's not gonna be in service till sometime in the spring.
Okay, okay.
I saw all the trucks got their wings on. And they're all,
Wings are not on everything yet, it's
some of the trucks I saw.
some. The two new ones are on there, they didn't take them off, but
Ready to go, but no snow, and that's good.
I'm okay with
and
that.
they ran once already on
Yeah.
a week ago Saturday, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Keith. Item number 6 is discussion of possible action to approve the minutes of December 14th, 2020 regular meeting. Have a motion by Scott, second by Doug. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Next on the list is correspondence. Santos, did you have correspondence this week?
So we had the correspondence in regards to some updates from the Quad City Chamber and how we were going to be communicating with the Muscatine Chamber and kind of moving forward into trying to get some projects put together and kind of getting some insight in regards to what county officials and county projects potential within West Liberty, Wilton, kind of helping incorporate that. We had a meeting on that. Got the same updates that I think most of you guys got from Brian. Also got a correspondence from the Economic Development Authority on some potential grant funding for the levy. That's about all I think I had from correspondence.
Nathan, correspondence?
In terms of correspondence, I just got the same things that everyone else got. And we have some COVID updates. And what Santos had mentioned, that's all.
Yeah, I had briefly mentioned the old, Santos and I did a virtual meeting with the, if everybody recalls historically when we've done our funding for economic development in Muscatine County, we've given an additional roughly $5,000 to the city, or to Muscatine Economic Development Corporation, which has funded, Quad Cities First, I think was the name of it,
Yeah.
which was
Changed
it's
it.
basically an economic development organization that was kind of a sister organization of the Quad City Chamber. And what they did was economic development kind of for, a lot of times when a large manufacturer looks at one place, there's, smaller communities that benefit from that. And then, so they would market all the properties in the region. So Paul Rumler and Julie Forsyth, I think was his name, did a presentation to of us. So bottom line is, with a lot of the economic times in the last year that hit people, they've done a little reorganization. They wanted to talk briefly with us, and I think we recommended, and I think that Paul's gonna come with Eric when we has budget presentation about that. So, as a way to streamline administrative expenses, they've kind of rolled that organization into the Quad City Chamber. So we may have people question why the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors would fund the Quad City Chamber. And clearly what they've done is they've consolidated all their economic development people and kind of targeted them to industry, and it's a really good change, I think, and it's helped them streamline their money. So it's a good effort, and we have, and I don't know, Doug, you may know I know when I was on the Wilton board, there's a number of statewide economic development resources, and the Quad Cities First was always an organization that, I know in Wilton and in Muscatine both said they got the majority of their leads came through them, not from some of the other organizations, like there's a Corridor Alliance and some other stuff, so.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I know that one of the things that really jumped out at me when they did their presentation is they do have basically a whole Excel sheet that they bring in from all different contexts, projects that they're doing. And confidentiality on some of those things, we wouldn't see who the company is or whatnot, but there was pages and pages of potential economic development within the Quad Cities, and it even shows, you know, Muscatine, Target, Wilton, some just in the general, you know, eastern Iowa, didn't really kind of, some in Illinois, some in Iowa. And that was really the big one that jumped out at me, that surprised me. Then it talked about potential jobs, impacts, and then obviously a really good organization that I think that will help, you know, the economic development for Muscatine County overall. And I think that's what the emphasis that we saw, that shared some positive impact from that view. So I was hoping that they would share that when we come to budget and show us how that new structure's changed. And so then, yeah, me and Jeff had that meeting earlier this week, and I thought it was really productive.
Yeah, and then Santos mentioned the board got an update letter, I think it was from Denise Boulat. And I know Sherry saw it, and Nancy, a feedback on the EDA grant application we put in for the potential, grant funding to help with the levee improvement project. I'm a glass half full kind of person. There was some more hoops to jump through, but we made the first cut, is the way I read it. And they're asking for more information. It's gonna take a little bit of time, so, I think that's, what we did learn was that they're considering it for a 50% match, not higher. We'd hoped at one point, there was a hope it could be up to as much as 80, but that doesn't look likely, so I still think that's a good positive step, so we'll hear on that. I also saw, we got a letter, the board got a letter from Bill Kellner, and the Board of Health. There was a concern raised, and I don't know if it was as an individual or a city employee of West Liberty, doesn't really matter at this point. I think Bill and the Board of Health did a nice job of responding to that concern. It was a concern about the prioritization of vaccinations or potential vaccines that come into the county. And I view that as a role of the Board of Health, that they'll be coordinating in public health, and I'm very confident that there was a request, and it's duly noted, and Bill responded accordingly, and I think most of the board saw that. I also had the Brian and Christie kind of updates and all that, so. That was it. Scott?
Correspondence, all I had was, just the emails that we all received.
Same.
Okay, how
Hey
about-
Jeff, before we move on, I do want to note, under correspondence, the sheriff had sent over to share with you a letter that he had received from John Jarvie, who's the chief judge, that's talking about what an excellent job the jail has done to accommodating the ability to have hearings and such virtually, and how much of a benefit that has been for everyone
Yeah, I
involved.
apologize to the sheriff. We did see that on our communications this morning. That we, again, can thank you to the sheriff and the jail staff for all their hard work in this time. I know that the marshal service and the district judges have really greatly appreciated the efforts at Muscatine County, and I know, Jim, you did some things with courts that everybody put forward here to try to make sure that we could continue to operate our court systems as effectively as possible in this tough time.
And I would just like to note Justice John Jarvie, an incredibly good judge, I think a great guy, been on the bench, I wanna say for over 30 years. And I'm not just kissing up, I've only ever had one matter in front of him, so it's not like I'm trying to curry favor, but, he's a really impressive guy, and I think his congratulations and thanks speaks volumes.
Very good. Okay, committee reports. Doug, did you have any committee meetings last week?
Yes, Wednesday the 16th, we met at noon, Wilton Development, and that was a virtual meeting. Thursday the 17th, we had a 7 o'clock in the evening meeting for Fair Board, and that was virtual. So that's the only 2 meetings I had.
I had, on Monday the 14th, I had the county conference board meeting with Randy Spees, and on Wednesday the 16th, Board of Health, and that was a virtual meeting. That's all I had.
And I had no committees last week.
I had on the 15th, Veterans Affairs Commission, and, I'm sorry, I neglected to mention to you before the meeting, on Thursday, we had the 17th, that was an in-person meeting, Veterans Affairs. Thursday the 17th, we had the Bi-State Drug and Alcohol Testing Consortium meeting. That was virtual. Yeah, and I think that was it.
On the 15th, I had a meeting with the City Council of West Liberty and some of the Weed League board members. Talked about some upcoming projects, some potential housing projects that they're looking at, and then they had a discussion with me in regards to questions around the ATV and UTV ordinance that we have just passed. Seems like there's interest in that city, looking at potential discussions and potentially reviewing their own ordinance. They did have questions to me in regards to why we didn't include golf carts, and I shared with them our opinions on that and how we came to that point. Ultimately, I said it's your guys' decision, but there was questions because they thought that there was community members that wanted to go to the golf course. It's on the county road, and so had some discussion on that I thought was very good. On the 16th, in the afternoon, I had a meeting with Bi-State, real good update and information around the arsenal that they're working on and projects that they've done in the past. And then on the 17th, I had a morning meeting, all virtual again, all these meetings for We Lead as well too.
Thank you, Santos. Okay, item number 9 are items with the administration office. So we've got a list of resolutions here this morning. The first is a discussion possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2001, transferring funds from the general basic fund to the secondary roads fund.
Move to approve.
Have a motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Santos. This is a roll call vote. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Nathan?
Aye.
Santos?
Aye.
Doug? Scott?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Item B is discussion and possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2002, transferring funds from the general basic fund to the conservation equipment reserve fund.
Move to approve.
Have a motion by Santos,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any discussion? Santos?
Aye.
Doug, Nathan?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Scott?
You got the next one.
And I vote aye. I'm stuttering this morning, sorry. Item C is discussion of possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2003, transferring funds from the rural services fund to the secondary roads fund.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Santos,
Second.
second by Doug. Any discussion? Santos,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
I vote aye, and Nathan? Aye. Motion carries. Item D, discussion of possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2004, transferring funds from the general basic fund to the GIS fund.
So moved.
I have a motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Scott. Any discussion? Nathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
I vote aye. Santos?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item E, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2005, of transferring funds from the rural services fund to the GIS fund.
So moved.
A motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Doug. Any discussion? Scott?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
Santos?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Item F, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2006, transferring funds from the general basic fund to the Historic Preservation Commission.
So moved.
I have a motion by Nathan,
Second.
second by Scott. Any discussion? Nathan?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Doug? I vote aye. Santos?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G, discussion possible action to approve resolution 12/21/2007, requesting reimbursement from the Iowa COVID-19 Government Relief Fund.
So moved.
Motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Nathan.
Actually, I have a question on
Any
this one.
discussion?
Is this, I remember we met, I can't remember what month, but early in the COVID crisis and provided extraordinary funding to the Board of Health.
This is not that funding. We have been through the process. We're jumping through all the hoops to get reimbursement for that.
Okay.
But we actually had them, the state reach out to us and say there was additional dollars available that we needed to apply for, that we could use any salary paid to law enforcement So we worked through that process of providing the information. They've followed up with additional information they need. I think we've jumped through all that hoop so that we're going to end up being able to maximize all of the funds available through that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, no more discussion. Scott?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Santos?
Aye.
And I will, Other, do you have anything else, Nancy?
I do not.
Okay, item 10 is receive information from county employees. Brian?
I'll give you the latest update on Muscatine County's COVID-19. Positive cases is 3,410. Recovered is 2,698. Sadly, we have deaths at 72. Of those, 65 are an underlying cause, 7 are a contributing factor. Our county-wide school district, 14-day average is 11.4%. My office has received from the state of Iowa PPE designated for our 5 long care facilities. I'm in the process this week of dispersing that out to those nursing homes. That's all I have. Any questions?
Brian, could you distinguish between underlying cause and contributing factor?
I need to research that a little bit more.
Sounds good.
That's that question where, when I sent you that letter,
Yeah.
what the IDPH was explaining.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think people, as I've been reading CDC and nationwide, they say some of the reporting on this has been a little bit difficult to maintain, and they're reclassifying as they go so they get a better handle on what's actually happening. So understand the frustrations that all are having. Okay, thank you, Brian. Any other county employees wishing to share anything with the board this morning? Are there any on the phone wishing to have unmuted or?
Just Eric.
Jeff, this is Eric. I was
Yeah.
gonna give you a little update on the sheriff's office project.
Yep, that'd be great, Eric, thank you.
So, first thing tomorrow morning, we have, will hopefully be a final walkthrough. Mike will be here, just create a punch list. I walked through this morning, just little odds and ends. They're finishing up door hardware. Electrician is pretty much finished. There's a couple of heating units, but there's gonna be a delay, on getting them shipped out, but we do have some hanging heating units that are keeping up just fine. Painters are pretty well finished. Exterior is finishing up this morning, which is a little final caulking around some of the window trim. So, it's been a few hiccups along the way, but I think all in all, it's gonna be a really nice, addition for them. It's shaping up nicely, and, they're hoping that the punch list is gonna be pretty minor. From what I see, I think it will be. We'll be in contact with the city probably later this week about maybe even getting a final inspection. So hoping the delay on a couple of those heating units won't create any issues on getting our occupancy permit. So, progressed pretty nicely, and they're hoping to wrap up here pretty shortly.
Okay,
Eric, do you know, did we get the access to the doors, with the badge system addressed?
What was that?
I thought they had some issues around access for the doors with the badge system on that. Was that an issue that we had discussed in the past?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that's one of the things JJ will be moving in to do, his portion. There will be key cards, in various areas throughout that building. That's one part that's, not under the Myers contract, I don't believe. But I'm not being made aware that there's any issues with that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not saying
That
it was
particular-
issues, it was just a question if they'd had that.
yeah, I think that was under, we did not put that under the general contract on that, that's we're
Right.
handling on our own.
Okay.
Cause we selected the vendor. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Eric.
Yep.
One question, Eric, can you give us a little bit on the actual, jail? Have you had another meetings with Mike in regards to coordination and logistics of that, starting on that project? I know you'd mentioned that last meeting.
Yeah, so he emailed out, some initial thoughts on paper as how he thinks, the remodeling and additional holding cells might look. I reached out to Matt McCleary. We're gonna meet today to try to put everybody's thoughts together, so when we meet with, Mike next, just wanna make sure all the county staff's on the same page, so we can give him the best direction possible. So I'm gonna meet with Captain McCleary today on Mike's just very preliminary, ideas on paper, but that's where he's at, is still kind of in the design phase and seeing if we can accomplish their needs with minimal, additional footprint outside the existing building. It looks like there will be some, but that's still being worked through right now.
Okay.
And in the county attorney's office, and Jim, I know Jim's here, is that, have we had our initial discovery meetings and we're kind of moving forward on that project as well?
He provided an original, plan. We then had a discussion and he did his walkthrough, me and Mike, and he provided an additional plan, a week or so ago. So yeah, we're moving along in that regard.
Good. Okay, anything else, Eric?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you much.
Yep.
Okay, no other county employees. Item number 11 is to receive comments from the public. Are there members of the public on call this morning that are wishing to speak? If so, you can unmute and give your name and address and issue. Okay, Bill's indicating he's seeing no one remove the mute. So, next item on our agenda is a closed session pursuant to chapter 21.5C Code of Iowa to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent. Why, that's difficult for me to say this morning. So I would have a motion to go into,
I move we go into closed session.
so I have a motion by Scott to go